Seriously though, you will spend most of your time at home, and so where should you childproof? It should be your home, not other people's homes. While though grandparents, I think, should think about these things when you're having children in your home. This has been a long time since maybe you had a small child in your home, but we're talking about your home where the child lives. So, the key locations to think about: exterior doors, sometimes interior doors, your cabinets, electrical outlets, medications, make sure, everything's out of reach and locked up, dog treats, and like their medication and stuff. We give our side
And
note,
there's a lot of dogs that have infused treats now.
we have, I was fixing to say, we have the infused treats. And so when it's a storm is coming, the dogs get infused treats so that they chill the fuck out. And you have to keep that away from the kids because you're like, I don't need them accidentally eating, you know, the CBD oil
Or whatever
dog treats.
And I think that's, a lot of these are kind of the more common thought process, right? Like hard candies. Like, you don't want to keep wrappered hard candies, like mints and things just on the
Jolly Ranchers
table in the living room. You don't,
Yeah.
especially if you have older kids, it becomes a little more
Yes.
complicated with foods that are in the house that aren't safe for the little one.
Yeah, that's what we
But
struggle
they
with
are
most.
talked about the most with people.
Mhm.
Like just in conversation, people I feel like think of these things. Locking down their cabinets, those types of things. That in movies.
Yeah. Everybody has been there and done that, right? Like, these are the things you think about. We had the doorknobs on all the exterior doors. We did put it on some of the interior doors, like we didn't want the little one going in his older siblings' rooms, and so we were nice and we gave them door locks too, so that they could keep him out. Right, so it had the spinning doorknob. You have to be big. Your hands have to be big enough to grab it on both sides to open it, which I struggle with apparently as an adult. But it keeps
I definitely
the
do
little
because
one
my
out.
grip strength sucks.
Yeah, I don't have any grip. So, but those types of things, they make those like magnetic locks for cabinets.
I still have locks on the exterior doors. My sister has some great ones that she got on the line that aren't on the handle necessarily because she does have older kids, but she has ones that sit really up high at the top of the door and they're magnet, and so when the door opens, it chimes an alarm if you turn it on, and you can turn it off during the day. But she also has a 10-year-old boy that is autistic that has only been talking for the last couple of years, and so if he wanders out, it could be bad because he would not talk to another human if he did get out.
Yeah.
So she does turn those on every night. And what's cool is those actually are removable and you can put them up in like hotel rooms and stuff easily. Mm-hmm. They're almost like 3M sticker tapes.
Yeah. Yeah, those are smart. Having things like that like alert you to what your kids are doing. Easy way to childproof your home. Some things that maybe you do or don't consider right away is like the sharp and hot and electric items. So I know we have sewing machines in our house. That's something we have to think about, right?
And I can't tell you how many videos I've seen lately of like a dad walking into a room and the kids have painted over each other and they're like just covered in arts and crafts.
Like, that's like, you're like, whew. Like, that one's not so bad, right? Because you're like, we can wash you off.
Like the baby's got marker all over its head.
My daughter, when she was I think she was like 18 months, dumped baby powder everywhere. Like, I don't even know how she got it, but I literally walked in her room and everything was white, including her. Like, all you could see was her little blue eye sticking out. Like, everything was white.
So I specifically remember this image being sent to us years ago by our good buddy Angie, and she had in her kitchen, it's not really a kitchen that you can block off from the rest of the house. Because,
That's a
like,
big
in my
open
house,
walk-in.
I blocked my kitchen off. Like, it wasn't even allowed to be gone into. Because I have a lot of cooking equipment and things. And I know that you have a large kitchen that you can't block off, but you locked every single cabinet.
Yep.
So, she had a daughter, and her daughter was very young. I don't remember how old she was when this happened, but very, very small. And she had pushed something like maybe a step stool because Angie's kind of small. And so I think it was a step stool. And she got up to the counter and she pulled all of the knives out of the cutting block and put them in the dryer, which is right next to their kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So she sent us a picture of this dryer and it had like 20 knives in it. It wasn't like a small amount of knives. Like, it was full of knives in this dryer. And she goes, I have been looking for the knives all day, and my daughter had to have done this. Like, I don't understand. And I go, well, she had to have done it, like, one by one. Like, there's no way she has no cuts on her, nothing, and carried all of them at one time. Like, she had to go and get one by one, get up,
each knife,
go get it, and out of the butcher block, out of the drawer, like, because there were so many. How did she even find all these knives? And they were all just kitchen knives. And, like, that was a horrifying moment for her and her husband and us, because obviously we
like,
you can
oh,
think about she's
that.
stepping up and down with knives.
Mm-hmm. And when did she do that? Like,
and they're fast. Like, kids are nimble and quick.
Yeah. It wasn't like they left her alone and she did this while, somehow she managed to slip away long enough to stick all the knives.
And she always had a grandma in the home, remember?
Yes.
At that time.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 3 adults in that house, and so she had to be nimble and quick to make that happen.
Yeah. That was very scary. So things to think about, right? Knives, your oven, like some ovens now lock, which is nice. You can lock them. I was worried about gas valves and stuff, but most of them lock these days.
Or like on the fireplace when you're in an older home with gas fireplace and they have those keys.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you remove the key and hide the key, it's still like a square post that can be rotated. And so you have to keep that in mind, that you have to find a way to block that off. And when mine was small, I actually blocked it with a china cabinet, because we lived in an older home with one of those. I removed the key, and then I put a china cabinet in front of it.
I believe in a lot of out of sight, out of mind. Kids don't go looking for trouble. They can see it and they find it. So yeah, you're right. Hide it where they can't see it. They're not gonna move the furniture to go find it. 9 times out of 10, they're only gonna mess with it because it's sitting in front of them.
It really depends on your home, but there's a lot of things that are in many Americans' homes that they may not think right away about.
Yeah. Top-heavy appliances, grills, like things that kids can climb up on that are big.
Especially if they have cords, because they'll pull the cord and it'll come off of the counter and fall on them.
Yep.
So like coffee makers, our stand mixers are extremely heavy, but that could occur.
You could. I mean, kids, you'd be surprised what kids can do. We've lost our coffee pot at least once to our youngest because he decided he was doing something and they're playing, and so glass went everywhere. Everywhere. And so,
and there's all those horror stories about young ones that pull on a cord, and it's like, not like an air fryer, but like what are those called? Like the deep fryers that are like small that people have in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them pulling it down, and then all that hot oil falling on the baby. Like, there's so many things that people don't think about. And bookshelves, climbing bookshelves. Mine, we had built-in bookshelves, built-in, and
Thankfully.
He still climbs bookshelves. Like I have to wrangle him every day.
Yeah, we've secured all of ours because we don't have tall dressers, so thankfully we've been blessed with short dressers, so I don't have to worry about that. But tall dressers and tall bookshelves, you should totally secure those to a wall. It's
And
for
some
safety purposes.
and some that are, the right weight ratio to your kid, even if they are short, if they climb on the drawers, they can still topple over on their legs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You have to
Don't
think
let them climb
about
the drawers.
yeah. You gotta watch these kids. I swear. You also
Mine's a climber. Can you tell?
yeah, yours is definitely a climber.
Everything
I don't have to
is
worry
bolted.
near as much as you do, which I was concerned. But
It's every day.
it is.
Literally pull my hair out on childproofing. Like, you can't childproof my kids' environment. There's no way.
No, there's too many things, right? What we got? Like, then you have to think about like suffocation and drowning type risks. So, like plastic bags.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like free floating wires that are just like hanging against the wall, like behind your TV. If they crawl back there, they might catch themselves on one of the wires or chew on the wires like a cat.
rabbit. Yeah, that's what they're like. Yeah. So we've actually taken to rolling up all of our cords so that they don't hang and they're not loose. For that
And make sure the
purpose.
circles are up high.
Yes, because kids grab and pull on everything. So I was actually fun horror story for everybody. There was a lady at work that I worked with, and I had said something about balloons, and she goes, "Children should never have balloons." And I was
Yeah,
like, "What do you mean?
I actually did
Children
know
should
that.
never have balloons." And she said she knew of a child that choked on a balloon. So it's something to think about. I'm not saying.
And it's not necessarily the whole balloon. It's they bite the balloon when it's blown up, and then a small chunk of it goes down their windpipe, and they
That's
choke.
exactly what happened. Is that the kid was playing with a balloon and a piece broke off.
Yeah,
And they choked
I've
on it.
always been terrified of balloons.
Yeah, so balloons, or them blowing them up, they can inhale them instead of blowing
We were
into them.
talking. Yes, we were talking about wires, and one thing that I know someone had an accident in their home, and a child had gotten the it's what are they called, the fabric cord things that hang from blinds.
Oh yes.
That it's real thin, but sometimes those are so long and kids play with them, and if they're tied together, like a lot of people will just do a little loose knot at the end to tie them together to keep them together, but that actually creates a hoop, for lack of a better term.
Yes. And kids
But
get wrapped up
water
in it.
risks are everywhere. You should never leave a small child alone in a bathtub.
That's actually
Mine
the most
is
dangerous place for them.
5, and I'm still nervous about it, but I have diverted my eyes now with the bathtub because I'm a little more secure with him. But there's different forms of drowning, and some of them are just damage to the lungs because they get liquid in their lungs, and not necessarily like passed out like in the movies, right? And so then, hours later they're having difficulty breathing because there's liquid in their lungs, and it's like slowly damaging their lungs, and then they end up having to go to the hospital anyway, and you didn't know they technically drowned. And we're drowning.
Yeah, they have things out there telling you like to watch for signs of extreme exhaustion, coughing, wheezing, like different things that would indicate that there could potentially be fluid in the lungs. But that can happen, you're right, at bath time.
A large dog bowl, if it's a small
bowls.
enough child.
We don't leave any buckets of anything full
Or
outside.
a startled child, right? Like if they're drinking and then another child comes up and startles them with a loud screech, they could breathe it in.
Yep. Things to think about. We don't want to overly scare people. These are just things.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that everyone understands there are a lot of things that people don't automatically think, oh, that could be an issue. But like pillows that some people throw on their couches that are very oversized, but they're very loose. They're not like a thick, stiff cushion.